3.
It started as a dare, the kind that seemed harmless at first, whispered among friends on a dark Friday evening. The old house at the edge of town stood like a silent sentinel, its windows black like empty eyes, walls creaking from years of neglect. 4 of us had gathered there, drawn by a mixture of boredom and bravado. The power had gone out that night, leaving only the faint glow of flashlights and phone screens to cut through the darkness. Someone, probably Ethan, joked about playing hide-and-seek to pass the time. We all laughed, a hollow, nervous sound that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. The house had a reputation. Everyone in town whispered stories about the last owner, a man who vanished mid-sentence during a dinner party. No one ever found him. Some said he'd been eaten by the shadows of the house itself. Others claimed he had gone mad and walked into the walls. We dismissed the stories as superstition, fuel for a laugh, though a small knot of unease formed in my chest. We switched off the lights, leaving only one phone to count. Ethan volunteered to be it first. The rest of us scattered. My heart hammered as I dashed through the dark hallway, searching for a hiding spot. The air smelled of dust, old wood, and something else, metallic, coppery, like blood left to dry. I ducked into a wardrobe in the corner bedroom, sliding the door closed behind me. The smell of damp earth hit me immediately, and the wood pressed cold against my back. Counting began. 10, 11, 12, and then a whisper from inside the wardrobe, soft but unmistakable. 13. I froze. My pulse surged. I held my breath. When I finally mustered the courage to open the door, the hallway was empty. Shadows stretching unnaturally along the walls. Downstairs, Alex crouched beneath the old living room couch, his flashlight beam slicing across the room in jerky movements. He expected to see the others, to hear footsteps approaching. But the light froze on something pale, long-fingered, slipping silently from above the couch. Blackened nails brushed against his cheek, as if testing his reality. He bolted, only to find the room empty when he looked back. By the time everyone reconvened in the kitchen, Ethan was missing. We searched the rooms, closets, even the attic. The only thing we found was his phone on the stairs, still recording. On the video, Ethan's own reflection stared back from the hallway mirror. Behind him, a figure counted in a whisper, words too soft and distorted to understand. We called the police, desperate, but when the footage was reviewed, it had vanished. Every frame, every second, erased as if it had never existed. In the days that followed, the count haunted us, faint behind walls, inside dreams. Sarah woke to her phone flashlight turning on by itself, aimed directly at her face. On the screen, words appeared as if typed by an invisible hand. Your turn to seek. Alex found muddy footprints leading from his backyard into his room, footprints with no exit. He stopped sleeping. The nights were punctuated by the soft sound of counting, the subtle scraping of fingers along walls, the whispers that seemed to echo inside our heads. One by one, friends vanished. No struggle, no signs of entry or exit, just rooms left with doors half open, the smell of rain clinging to the floorboards. The town forgot quickly. Children grew wary of the old house at the edge of town. Parents told stories to scare them away, and life returned to normal as much as it could. Months passed. A new family moved in, a mother, her son, and their dog. On the first night, the boy found a dusty note in the same wardrobe where I had hidden. The words were scrawled, almost carved into the paper. Never play when the lights are off. The seeker never stops. Curiosity is stronger than caution. That night, he asked his mother if she wanted to play. She laughed, thinking it a silly game. But when the lights went off and she began counting, the house seemed to hold its breath. 50. 51. 52. When she opened her eyes, the wardrobe door was slightly ajar. A voice came from the darkness. Ready or not? Something stepped out. Taller than the boy, smiling with teeth too sharp, holding a phone that wasn't theirs. Shadows clung to it, wrapping the air around its presence with cold intent. The counting never ended. Even when the power returned, the whispers lingered in the walls. Every year when the lights failed in that part of town, people swore they heard it. Faint steps between walls, soft counting that never finished. 47, 48, 49. If you join in, make sure you win. Because the one who loses keeps playing forever. The dare had seemed innocent. That Friday night we had been young, foolish, and full of bravado. Ethan had insisted we play one more round. This time the rules were simple. Hide and seek in total darkness. No flashlights, no phones, just the house and its shadows. The first hour passed uneventfully, our laughter bouncing off the walls. Then came the counting, a voice soft, familiar, but wrong. Not Ethan, not any of us. I hid in the basement, crouched behind a stack of boxes. The smell of mold and rust clung to my clothes. Counting began. The numbers were slow, deliberate. 50, 51, 52. But then the whisper began. A second count, quiet, almost beneath the audible range, coming from somewhere deep in the shadows. I froze. The air around me thickened, pressing against my lungs. The whisper moved, circling, coming closer. I thought it was a trick of my mind, a miscount, but the shadow across the wall moved independently. It stretched, reaching for me. I bolted from my hiding place only to find the staircase empty. My friends weren't there. Their laughter didn't follow, only the whisper. Upstairs, Sarah crouched inside the wardrobe. The wood had grown colder. She heard it too, a voice counting alongside hers, a second presence echoing every number she whispered. Her breath quickened. She tried to leave, but the wardrobe door slammed shut on its own, locking her inside. Alex was trapped under the couch. Hands reached from beneath, long skeletal fingers brushing against his ankles. Something whispered, "Found you," in a voice he recognized but couldn't place. Panic surged, and he ran blindly into the dark hallway, crashing into furniture that had never been there before. Ethan disappeared completely. His last scream echoed down the hall like it had been swallowed by the walls themselves. Only his phone remained, lying in the center of the staircase. The camera was still on, recording the shadows as they moved without shape, counting without pause. We called the police again. They found nothing. Not a single clue. Not a fingerprint, not a sign of forced entry, nothing. Our statements were dismissed as hysteria. But we knew. We had all heard it. The counting never stopped. In dreams, in reflections, in the corner of every darkened room. Sarah woke to her phone flashlight illuminating her face, a single message typed on the screen. "Your turn to seek." By the time the next week rolled around, none of us had slept properly. Each night, the faint counting echoed in our ears, sometimes from behind walls, sometimes from the shadows in the corners of our rooms. Sarah refused to go upstairs alone. Alex barricaded himself in his room, checking the closets and under the bed at least 5 times before falling into a fitful sleep. It was Ethan's disappearance that haunted me the most. I couldn't stop picturing his reflection in the hallway mirror, the second figure whispering the count just behind him. I felt like the number itself had marked us, bound us to something unseen, something patient and relentless. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I went back to the old house. The moon was high, clouds drifting lazily, casting shadows that stretched like fingers along the walls. I approached the front door, my flashlight trembling in my hand. I hesitated. The door was cracked open, creaking softly in the night breeze. Inside, everything smelled of dust and decay. Boxes lay overturned, furniture moved as if something had been pacing in the darkness. I called Ethan's name. No response. Only the faintest whisper, counting, drifting from upstairs. One step at a time, I ascended the staircase, each creak echoing through the house like a gunshot. The counting grew louder, faster, overlapping, 2 voices in perfect unison. 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. I froze at the top. The hallway was empty. Every door was closed. Every shadow seemed to shift as I stepped forward. And then I saw it, a reflection in the mirror at the end of the hall. My own reflection, yes, but something else behind me. A figure taller than a man, its face obscured by darkness. Its hands, long, spindly, impossibly thin. They moved, counting along silently, following the rhythm of the voice. I ran, down the hall, through the kitchen, out the back door. The air was cold and still. Nothing followed, or so I thought. That night at home, my room felt different. The shadows were heavier. The corners seemed to breathe. My phone vibrated. A single message appeared. "Found you." Panic gripped me. I dropped the phone. The screen lit up again. Your turn to seek. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak, every gust of wind sounded like footsteps pacing the hallways of that cursed house. The counting followed me into my dreams, whispering my name, soft and deliberate. 55, 56, 57. The next day, Sarah called. Her voice trembled. I saw it last night, she said. The shadow. It counted. And it smiled. Alex saw it too, I know it. We decided to meet at the house again. None of us could stay away. The pull was too strong, the fear too deep to ignore. We arrived just before sunset. The house looked normal enough, but the air smelled of decay, old wood, and something metallic that made our stomachs churn. Inside, the darkness swallowed us whole. We split up to search, even though none of us wanted to. The counting began. Not one voice, but many. Overlapping, echoing, each number resonating in our skulls like a drumbeat of doom. I found Sarah first. She was in the wardrobe, silent, still, eyes wide. She whispered, "It's not real. It's not real." But her voice trembled, and the air around her felt thick, heavy, like the house itself was pressing down. When I tried to pull her out, a hand shot out from the shadows, pale and skeletal, wrapping around her arm. She screamed. I screamed. And then silence. Alex wasn't anywhere to be found. The lights flickered. The air grew colder. Shadows pooled on the walls, stretching, twisting, reaching for us. The counting never stopped. We tried to leave, but the doors, they wouldn't open. Every window was black, reflecting not the night outside, but the shifting darkness inside. And then we saw them. Not one, but many figures emerging from the walls, from the corners, all counting in whispers. The numbers were wrong, overlapping, but precise. 58, 59, 60, 61. We ran blindly, tripping over furniture, crashing through doors that led nowhere. The house had changed. Hallways stretched impossibly long. Stairs looped back onto themselves. Rooms shifted as we moved. Every corner held shadows that weren't ours. Every whisper counted us closer. Finally, we stumbled into the living room. The phone, Ethan's phone, lay on the floor, screen glowing. The camera feed showed us, but from above, from impossible angles. We weren't alone. The shadows loomed behind us, silent and patient. And the whisper, "Your turn to seek." Sarah tried to scream. I grabbed her, and we ran to the nearest exit and a door that hadn't existed before. It opened to the outside. The air was fresh, the sky black with stars. But behind us, the counting didn't stop. It followed, drifting across the yard into the trees, into the town itself. Ethan never came back. Alex never came back. And for years after, Sarah and I avoided the old house. But every time the wind rustled the trees near it, every time the lights flickered in town, we heard it. The faint, deliberate counting. 52, 53, 54. We knew then, without doubt, that the game never ended. Whoever loses stays in the house forever, counting, hiding, seeking. And some nights when the world is quiet and the darkness deep, we hear it from our own walls. A soft whisper, a voice calling our names, and the counting. Always the counting.